The show is about to begin inside the Lloyd Noble Center in Norman. It's Sooner Women's Gymnastics presented by OU Health on Sooner Vision from ESPN Plus. As the top-ranked defending national champion Oklahoma Sooners host the Iowa State Cyclones in Big 12 Conference action. Alongside Sooner national champion Natalie Brown, I'm Chad McKee. Iowa State, they come in a 4-2 record, lost a West Virginia quad meet a week ago for their first Big 12 loss. What's been the story of their season?
Yeah, so they are coming off a season high. I actually had the chance to talk to their assistant coach, Haley Young, and she said that their biggest goal tonight is to hit all 4 events. They had some season highs on beam and floor last week, and I know if they start executing vault and bars in the same way, then they will be happy with the outcome tonight.
A rugged month of January as designed by Sooner head coach KJ Kindler that saw them face 4 top 10 teams. Where does it have them standing now?
Yeah, so Oklahoma is actually coming off a season high as well, a 198-425, which is the highest team score so far this season across the board. Not to mention they did that on the road in Denver. I spoke with Coach Kindler, and she said she's incredibly happy with the position they're in, considering that 3 out of the 4 meets they've had have been on the road. And I know that she's happy to be back at home tonight in the LNC.
And a great crowd. They were very pleased with the response for the Utah meet, and this is home meet number 2. Let's take a look at tonight's keys presented by Riverwind Casino, still the one. Natalie, what do you have for us?
Yeah, so tonight I just think that the keys to the meet are really to dial in on the landings. Those small tints do matter. Last week they stuck 2 out of 6 on vault, 4 out of 6 on bars, and 6 out of 6 on beam. Moving on, number 2, increase the level of performance on floor. It's now the 5th meet of the season. They built up their endurance, so now it's time to really perform. And lastly, just keep the momentum going that they built up so far this season.
And what better way to do it than with a great start on vault? Danielle Sievers first down the runway.
Great takeoff off the vault and almost gets that stick, holds on a little bit there. I'm not sure that they will give it to her, but a great lead off from Danielle Sievers.
Gary, South Dakota, All-American Gymnastics, and her sister Megan competed at Iowa State. But I bet Megan's rooting for Sis tonight and not the alma mater. What do you think?
Yeah, I can agree. I've met Megan, and she is such a sweetheart, so she's definitely rooting for her sister tonight.
We get over to the Cyclones, taking their turn on the uneven bars to start this rotation. Iowa State, uneven bars, 59th in the country. Certainly would like to improve a little bit there.
Almost tips over on that handstand right there, but saves it, going right into a bail. Now back up on the high bar, gets that last handstand. Heading into her dismount now. A double layout. Almost gets the stick. Lands a little bit low. I know they'll take a little bit for that, but a good routine to start off for the Cyclones.
Madeline Langkamp missed 2022 with injuries, mainly a bar performer, and it's her 5th year in the program. She's a graduate student for Coach Jay Ronayne. You see him in his 17th season as the head coach up in Ames. 2 routines in the books. Faith Torres, the freshman, set to go. She'll be in the all-around tonight. Bristol, Wisconsin, and it is not rare that a Sooner compete in the all-around as a freshman, even at this level, but she has adapted awfully quickly, hasn't she?
Oh, yes, she is adapting so well. She looks like a veteran out there. I know many people have said the same thing. You can just see the confidence on her face as she competes every single event.
KJ Kindler said maybe what's a little surprising is just her consistency. There aren't those highs and lows that your typical freshman might have.
For sure. She's just adapted so well, especially in crowds of 10,000 plus. It's been amazing to see, and I know that she's just going to get better as the season goes on.
Awaiting Danielle Sievers' score before Faith Torres takes her turn. Sooners very good on vault. Oklahoma is top 3 in the country on all 4 apparatuses, and they are the top vault team in the country. Their average 49.513 and a high score of 49.650 this year. Well, I see Madeline Langkamp's score on the bars, a 9.775, but I don't see Jordan Bauer's score just yet on the vault. Here goes Torres.
Nice block off the vault, and she almost gets that stick, just a tiny hop on the landing, but such a great vault for Faith.
So Faith Torres, Danielle Sievers' score was posted 9.925. What do you think of this one?
I think that this will be pretty close to that. She didn't get the stick there, and Danny held the landing a little bit better, but I will say that the form in the air and the block off the table will make for a great score.
Back to the bars, and Hannah Loyam for Iowa State. We told you the score for Langkamp was 9-7-7-5. Loyam did the all-around last week for Iowa State in that quad meet.
Nice pack salto heading up to the high bar now. Double layout, almost gets the stick, just a tiny little step there. Another great routine for Iowa State.
Just a little bobble at the end. And that backs the 9-7-7-5 a moment ago. So Sievers a 9-9-2-5 for the Sooners on the vault. See Faith Torres' score in just a moment. Allie Stern set to take her turn. Fifth-year Sooner. First team All-American on vault last year. She was third at the NCAA championships and had a perfect 10 against Alabama last year on the vault. Third up in the rotation for the Sooners.
Allie is a great competitor on vault. Nice block off the table, holds that landing. Such a great vault for Allie Stern. That is the way that she knows how to vault.
Just how high is that one going to score?
I don't know, but it's definitely going to be higher than the first two. I'm not sure if she got that stick there, but it looks like she held it, so I think the judges might give it to her.
Yeah, if they say that's a stick, we might have just seen perfection. So a 9-9-2-5 for Sievers, a 9-9-0 for Faith Torres. And we'll see about Stern. And it's probably going to happen as Lauren Thomas is competing on the uneven bars if we see a 10 posted.
It's into a straddle Jaeger. Just slight form deductions as we go in. You can see her legs separating. However, the judges are on the side, so they might not even be seeing what I see. Heading to the high bar, misses that last handstand. Gets that stick on her dismount, though. A great way to finish up her routine.
She's a transfer from the University of Washington, originally out of Loveland, Colorado. Junior Lauren Thomas, and that follows a 9-7-7-5 and a 9-8-0-0. Look again. The finish that she wanted. And back over to Jordan Bowers.
Nice pop off the table, and she sticks it. That might have been perfection right there. Great momentum so far on the vault with these landings.
Allie Stern's score was 9-9-5. It's so hard to find any fault with these. You have the new sidelines on the landing mat this year in the women's gymnastics game now. The men have had it for a few years, but these gymnasts aren't even close to it. It's not even a factor for them.
No, because we haven't had the lines really in the past. I know it's been something that we've had in club gymnastics, but now they brought it over to the NCAA, and the judges can take up to 3/10 deduction depending upon the distance in between those lines.
Here's Natalie Horowitz, fourth in the rotation, graduate student from Longmeadow, Massachusetts. She was part of the Tim Daggett Gold Medal Gymnastics Academy.
Good bail right there. Misses that handstand. Heading into her dismount now. A really pretty double layout, and she gets this stick.
Well, she missed 2020 and 2022 with injury, so good for her to be healthy and sticking dismounts like this. So the high score for the Cyclones so far on the bars is a 9-8-5 of Lauren Thomas. Still do not see Jordan Bowers' score posted. Catherine Levasseur gets set. She had a 9.975 last week at Denver to win the vault title for the Sooners.
Yeah, don't even get me started about her vault from last week. It was perfection.
It was a 10, right?
Yes.
Just wasn't scored that.
Yes, and I want to have a talk with the judge that did not give her a 10.
I think Coach Kindler did.
Great block off the table, great distance, just a small step there. You can tell she was going for that stick again, but overall a great vault for Kat.
So both Stern and Bowers have 9.95s, a 9.925 for Sievers, and Faith Torres a 9.90. We'll see the category of that one for Catherine Levasseur. Audrey Davis will be 6th up in the Sooner rotation. We get over to Laura Cook on the uneven bars for the Cyclones now.
Straight into a Shaposh, right to a packed salto. Nice transition on the bar. Heading into her dismount now. Another double layout stuck. I believe that's now 3 in a row for Iowa State.
And 4 out of 5 for the Cyclones. So Laura Cook, who was the 2022 Big 12 Scholar Athlete of the Year.
And those landings, they do matter.
4th year in the program for her. So Audrey Davis now for the Sooners. Catherine Levasseur's score was a 9.85 prior to this, which is a great score, but it's the lowest so far for the Sooners. We'll see if Davis can better that.
Audrey stuck her vault last week in Denver. She almost gets it again. Just a small step backwards. The judges will have to take on that, but overall, that was a great vault for Audrey.
We'll see her in 3 rotations for the Sooners this evening.
Just slight leg separation as she comes off the vault and that small step backwards.
So Audrey Davis wrapping things up for the Sooners. There's assistant coach Lou Ball talking things over with her. And back to the Cyclones to conclude. And Logan Boswell, senior from Torrance, California. She had a 9.875 in the NCAA second round a season ago. Veteran competitor. Didn't compete in 2020. Then got into action in 2021 on the bars.
Heading into her release right now, straddle Jaeger. Beautifully done. Hits that handstand. Straight into a bail to the low bar. Going into her dismount now. I'm unsure if she was supposed to do that. I believe she was supposed to do a double layout, but overall it was a great routine despite that.
Yeah, the reaction indicated that something was a little amiss at the end, didn't it?
Yeah, you can just tell by facial expressions, but the routine was beautiful other than that.
Waiting on the score for Audrey Davis. We'll see Sheridan Ramsey with an exhibition routine on vault. Sheridan Ramsey, the junior from Tulsa, Booker T. Washington High School, Aim High Academy, vault specialist last year. She wants to get into broadcasting. She's a broadcast journalism major, Natalie.
I love Sheridan. She has such a great personality, and she's just such a genuine human. Great vault, too. Wow. A Yurchenko full. She holds on to that landing. You can see she's really happy with that. Just a slight pike down, if I'm being picky.
Well, it's your job to be picky up here to a certain extent.
However, I'm just so excited for her and the excitement that she's showing.
And we'll see Emma Ricks with the exhibition for Iowa State. Big smile there for Sheridan Ramsey. Jordan Ramsey didn't compete in 2021 due to injury. Came back last year on the vault. And so we'll see Emma Ricks here. First action for her. Just wrapping up the housekeeping for the Sooners, and Audrey Davis 9.725 was her score. So that'll be the one that the Sooners lose and keep the other 5.
Just a slight error going down to the bar. You can tell she's having to make up for it with an extra skill there. Heading back up to the high bar. A good dismount to end, just a step backwards, but a good recovery in that routine.
One rotation is in the books tonight. In Oklahoma, the #1 team in the country and the #1 vault team in the country as well. Looking every bit the part so far. 49.575 is going to be Oklahoma's vault total. At 49.575 is above their season average and just slightly below their season high. Oklahoma the lead after one rotation. Top-ranked Sooners looking to go 2-0 in Big 12 conference action. Rotation 2 coming up as these teams will trade spots when we return to the Lloyd Noble Center. Welcome back inside the Lloyd Noble Center. Your scoring update presented by OU Health here. And Oklahoma a little above their season average, but below their season high. They had 9.95s from Allie Stern and Jordan Bowers to lead the way. Iowa State a season high on the uneven bars, 49.125, and a season high by Laura Cook, 9.875 to lead the way after one rotation. So Iowa State trying to hang in there with this Oklahoma team that is so explosive. And this veteran group of Sooners, we're going to talk about Faith Torres and some of the freshmen, but we get to Jordan Bowers, who's our Sooner to watch, presented by OU Health. Just special, career high in the all-around of 39.700. Natalie, what goes into making her such a special gymnast?
Yeah, so Coach KJ Kindler said that she's fully embraced her role on the team and the responsibilities that she has. She not only leads by example, but leads with passion and sparks that passion and fire in others. You know, she's really worked hard on beam in the offseason to be consistently in the lineup this year and has proven that she deserves to be competing in the all-around.
Yeah, KJ Kindler said Carly Woodard was one of the mentors for Jordan Bowers, and she said that Jordan doesn't do a perfect routine every time, but she sells it every time as though the routine was perfect. And Coach Kindler, Sooners have now won 4 of the last 7 NCAA titles. Been in the top 3 9 straight years. She likes where this team is at. She told us this week they can't just fill out a lineup. It's impossible. There's so much competition. You might have 15 gymnasts deep on the balance beam. That's a good problem to have, but sometimes it is tough to fill out that lineup card, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and she couldn't give us a lineup before this meet today, and that just says a lot. You definitely want a team with a lot of depth, especially heading into the postseason where you really need it, where injuries come and you need to give breaks to other gymnasts. But it's really exciting to see that depth of Oklahoma.
Anna Irene Palacios first up for Iowa State on the vault.
Almost gets that stick right there, just a small hop, but overall a great lead off to start Iowa State off on the vault.
So for the Sooners up first will be Danielle Sievers on the uneven bars. So Danielle lead off on the vault and score a 9.925.
Starts her routine with a Maloney, straight back to the low bar with a packed salto. So beautiful. She's definitely the person you want leading off on this event. Hits that final handstand, now onto her dismount. Hop in, hop out, stuck, dismount. I believe she does that every time. Such a great way for Oklahoma to start off on the bars.
She's such a good leadoff performer. So consistent, you're usually going to get a stuck routine like that one.
Yeah, she's definitely someone that you can count on to start off the momentum.
Danielle Sievers getting the Sooners off to a great start. Anna Irene Palacios was up first on vault. Now Natalie Horowitz. Nope, Hannah Loyam. Had a little change in the lineup apparently for the Cyclones here.
Another Yurchenko full. She gets the height in the distance, just a little bit too much power, so she has to take that big step back. I'm unsure if she stepped outside the line, but overall that was a great vault in the air. Just again, just dialing in on those landings matters a lot.
Anna Irene Palacios' score was a 9.80. We'll see about Hannah Loyam here in just a moment. Faith Torres next on the bars for the Sooners. Freshman from Bristol, Wisconsin. She's already doing the all-around some. She's been on the international stage. Did the all-around against Utah and LSU. That's being thrown right into it. You go down to LSU and compete in the all-around as a freshman, but a miss.
She does that Maloney up to the high bar, and her grips just slip off the bar. So let's see if she repeats that skill right now. I know that she normally does that Maloney and then heads right back down into a combination, and she does it beautifully. Nails that pirouette. So far, she's recovering so well. And an amazing double layout dismount. A great way to finish that routine. She basically just started over. You know, mistakes are going to happen. She is just a freshman, and it's okay. We're early on in the season, and it's better to get those out now than later on in the season.
What type of a deduction is she looking at here?
A fall will be 5/10, so the score will be 9.5 or below.
Danielle Sievers had a 9.925 prior to that.
A great vault right there. Yurchenko full. She gets that landing. Great pop off the table, and the form in the air was also superb.
Seen a 9.80 and a 9.675 so far for Iowa State on the vault.
So far, we've seen Yurchenko fulls from Iowa State. Those do start from a 9.95. A Yurchenko 1.5 that we saw Oklahoma do. Those start from 10.0. So you have to remember when the scores come out that the judging starts at a 9.95 for those vaults.
By the numbers this year, Iowa State's best rotation has been the vault. They are 27th nationally. Watch Catherine Levasseur get set. She's up third for the Sooners on the uneven bars. Have not yet posted Faith Torres' score. Just waiting on that. So Sievers 9.925, that takes over the individual lead, with Iowa State having completed their turn on the bars. Now it looks like we're ready for Catherine Levasseur. First team All-American on the bars a year ago.
Starts off with a toe on. Right into a beautiful Tkachev. Her lines on this event are gorgeous. Nails that bail. Right to handstand. Going into her dismount now. So far, handling the pressure well. Gets that stuck landing. That is the best bar routine I've seen from Kat so far this season. And with the pressure and all, wow.
Yeah, important spot. After Faith Torres' slip, Torres scored a 9.00, and Levasseur gets the Sooners back on track.
You love to see it. Her dismount is just beautiful. Her legs are glued together in the air. You can tell she's happy with that.
Kelsey Boychuk just had a 9.800 for Iowa State. Josie Bergstrom is due up next. Sophomore from Boyden, Iowa. A 9.9 in the NCAA championships on vault last year. That was a pretty good one there.
Another Yurchenko full for Iowa State. She tried to hold on to that landing, ended up taking a little step there, but a great vault, landed a little bit close to the line. Again, the judges can take up to 3/10 deduction depending upon where you land in between those lines.
Waiting on Levasseur score. Get back over to the Sooners. Reagan Smith will be up next on the uneven bars. Perfect score on the beam last week. Senior from Louisville, Texas. Texas Dream Gymnastics. Seems like just yesterday she was the Big 12 newcomer of the year.
Starts off with a big Ray release, very fitting since her nickname is Ray. Great pack salto to the low bar, nails that half pirouette. So far, a superb routine from her. A great double layout, dismount, just a slight hop backwards, but that was a great routine for Reagan Smith.
So we just saw Catherine Levasseur score a 9.95, which now leads on the uneven bars. And we'll see about Reagan Smith. Sooners have bounced back strong on the uneven bars. Oklahoma, the #2 bars team in the country at this point, 5 meets in. Only Florida has a higher on average score than do the Sooners.
Another Yurchenko full, great flare out from that full twist. She gets the landing, lands a little bit low, but a great vault. There's a slight deduction for form in the air, but I love seeing gymnasts flare out of their full twist.
High score so far is a 9.800. Ana Irene Palacios had that for the Cyclones. And Jordan Bowers now. Jordan, our gymnast to watch, Big 12 Gymnast of the Week against Denver, won the all-around and the floor exercise.
Nails that first handstand. Heading into her release now. Beautiful straddle Jaeger. So far, her execution is great. Hits that last handstand, now going into her dismount. Half in, half out. Sticks the landing. Got a little excited before she even landed. You could tell she spotted that landing. Another great routine for Oklahoma.
Where can she see it, right?
Right
Saw it
there.
early.
Sometimes we get a little excited and a little ahead of ourselves.
Easy to do.
Yes.
And another great routine. Catherine Levasseur has a 9.95, the high score. Sievers a 9.925 and Reagan Smith a 9.90. Oklahoma now the 3 highest scores on the uneven bars. Emily Hong now.
A great Yurchenko 1.5. This vault will start from a 10.0. Just a slight hop on the landing, but you can tell she is excited with that vault.
She had a 9.85 on the vault last week in the quad meet.
Just slight form deduction in her knees. Her knees got a little bit soft right before the landing, but again, the power off the table and the distance, she should be happy with that vault today.
So we await Jordan Bowers' score for the Sooners on the bars. We'll see Audrey Davis also scheduled for an exhibition from Danae Fletcher tonight. But Audrey Davis ready to go for the Sooners, the junior from Oakland, Florida. She was the 2022 NCAA runner-up on the bars.
Audrey does one of the most difficult routines in the NCAA on this event. She does a Higgins grip to her release, a piked Jaeger. Very difficult. Have to have great shoulder flexibility in order to do that. Beautiful. Nails that last handstand. All she has left now is her dismount. Double front, half, and she sticks the landing.
Yes, she did.
That was a great routine for Audrey Davis. I know that a 10.0 is in her future. She's done many perfect routines in my eyes, but we'll see what she gets here tonight.
Is it in her immediate future is the question.
If I'm being picky, and I think she's very picky as well, her pirouette on the low bar didn't really hit the handstand that she normally does. However, it was an amazing routine.
And a bounce back for the Sooners after a little slip in the second routine on that rotation. But they come back with a 9.95 from Levasseur, which as of now is the high score. Not just a bounce back routine, but maybe the high score on this rotation from Levasseur. Huge performance for her to get them back on track.
What I say is sometimes pressure creates diamonds, and that's a real thing. Sometimes when things like that happen, it prepares you to not only do what you do in practice, but do it even better under that level of pressure.
And speaking of that, it's important to see what competitors can do when the lights are on. You might be good in the gymnastics room. How do you perform out here under the lights? Danae Fletcher has been great during her Sooner career. She gets an exhibition tonight on the uneven bars to close things.
Starts off with a piked Jaeger, beautifully done. Hack salto to the low bar, half pirouette. Just misses that handstand right there before her dismount, but gets the stick on that landing. A great exhibition routine for Danae.
Going to see her explosive routine on the floor exercise later on tonight for Danae Fletcher. She was a first-team All-American on the floor exercise last year. That's still a couple of rotations away. The exhibition for her. We wrap things up, and Audrey Davis just shy of perfection with the routine prior to that one from Danae Fletcher. 9.975 for Audrey Davis. Not quite a 10, but good enough to secure her an individual event title tonight. Halfway done, Oklahoma has extended its lead over Iowa State inside the Lloyd Noble Center. Rotation number 3 coming up next. This is OU Women's Gymnastics presented by OU Health on Sooner Vision from ESPN+. Stats are presented by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Oklahoma's lead is 1 point, 2 5/10. And Iowa State's having a good night. Iowa State has posted season-high scores on each of the first 2 rotations. Still, Oklahoma has been so good. In fact, the Sooners 49.675, a season high for them just a moment ago on the bars. And we move on to the beam, where last week against Denver, we saw Oklahoma produce a season-high score nationally, and also 2 incredible performances. We saw perfection from Reagan Smith.
Yeah, Reagan has turned into such a clutch performer on this event. It all started last year when she scored 2 perfect 10s, and then at Nationals just solidifying that overall win for Oklahoma. She's really brought that same confidence with her heading into this season, and I have no doubt that she will get another perfect 10.
You saw Olivia Troutman, Olivia's debut on beam last week with a 9.95. Before the perfection. So you go back-to-back, and Oklahoma's had back-to-back perfect 10s in events before.
Yeah, Olivia is a true competitor. You know, she's battled injury a lot in her career. She keeps a warrior mentality to get back to where she was, and I know that Oklahoma is super happy to have her back in the lineup.
KJ Kettler was talking with us about Olivia and the wear and tear on her body, and it's just strange injuries that she has had. Some tissue in her Achilles, and then the real one was her heels, and You know, KJ Kindler, doctors even said, listen, if this needs to be it, you've had an incredible career, you can be done and everybody will be super pleased and happy for you. And she came back and said, I don't want to be done. She wanted one more year, and what a year it's shaping up to be.
Yeah, that's just Olivia for you. You know, she sets her mind on things, and she's going to do it. It's truly incredible that she's able to come back from injury, but she always does, and she truly is the comeback kid.
And she was not supposed to compete last week, but one of her teammates was not comfortable with her dismount, so they said, Olivia, we need you to go. She jumped right in there, first time on beam this season, and stuck it in the number 5 spot.
Yeah, and normally she's not supposed to compete in that spot. She's used to leading off on beam, which she is tonight. She's definitely the person you want leading off on this event.
Olivia Troutman set to get things going for the Sooners.
She brings a level of confidence to this event that you definitely need in order to compete.
She's an 8-time All-American in her Sooner career.
Ends that full turn on releve, which I appreciate. Goes right into her series. Beautiful back handspring layout. Cat leap to switch side. Holds that landing right there. Just a little bobble. Didn't give too much away. Extremely hard front toss right there, but she makes it look super easy. Her dismount now. Round off 1.5. Almost holds on to that stick, just a little backwards on that landing, but a good start for Oklahoma on beam.
Again, always a stick, always a clean routine. That's why she's perfect in the leadoff spot. Big 12 vault champion last year, second team All-American on vault and the beam was Olivia Troutman. First up on the floor exercise for Iowa State, we'll get Kelsey Boychuk. You see Cook, Parker, Palacios as well. Maddie Diab will be the number 6 competitor, the anchor spot.
Starts off her routine with a double pike. Very well done. Heads right into her dance. Round off 1.5 to front layout. So far, she's leading off this team very well. I love it when gymnasts look right in the camera.
I don't know if the judges can see that, but I agree. It does add an element.
Well, they should be looking straight into the judges' eyes as well, which they probably are.
Kelsey Boychuk, senior from Broomfield, Colorado, 5'2", gymnastics. 5th year in this Cyclones program.
Last pass right here, double back, lands that super well. A great leadoff routine right there for Iowa State.
Clean, solid, not many misses. And let's look back at pass number 2.
Right there. Her last pass right there, she does a double back to end that routine. Great level of difficulty just for that starting routine. Iowa State is truly known for their power.
We've seen a 9.90 from Olivia Troutman to start things on the beam for the Sooners. Now it's Catherine Lavasser's turn.
Gorgeous to watch on this event. Truly captivating.
She had a 995 last week, which is the second highest score in the country this year.
Back handspring back layout. Walks right into her dance. Switch leap, straddle half. Beautiful front aerial to a beat jump. She's just getting more confident as the routine goes on. Shows off her flexibility there. All she has left now is her dismount. Back handspring to gainer full. Gets the stick. A gorgeous routine for Kat.
What could you even nitpick about that one?
I don't know, not much.
Catherine Levasseur, second for the Sooners on the beam.
She doesn't give away any form deductions in that dismount. She is just flat as can be, which is what you want to see on that skill.
Back over to the floor exercise, Kelsey Boychuk. Do not yet have the score of Lauren Thomas. Cyclones. Beg your pardon, this will be Laura Cook. Boychuk had a 9.825. So solid start from Boychuk for the Cyclones. Iowa State, as we said, they're having a good night. Season highs in their first 2 rotations. But Oklahoma's so powerful, still leading by over a 1.5.
Yeah, Iowa State is doing exactly what they set out to do. They have season highs now on vault and bars and have had a really great start to floor so far.
Cook, a senior from Norwich, England, as we told you, the 2022 Big 12 Scholar Athlete of the Year.
Started off her routine with a front handspring double full to a stag jump. I believe she stayed in bounds. I'm always one to appreciate the facials in floor routines. Might as well perform. You have a minute and a half to do it. Heading into her next pass right here. 1.5 front full. Excellent.
See, we just got Levasseur's score, a 9.90, just as Troutman had for Oklahoma on the beam.
And that was a great routine for Iowa State to keep that momentum going. Here's her first pass again, front handspring double full. Pretty sure she stays in bounds right there. Now her last pass. Great form, her legs stay together, and she also stays in bounds right there.
Jordan Bowers already on the beam for Oklahoma. 9.90s for Levasseur and Troutman so far.
Beautiful full turn. Gorgeous back handspring back layout. She wastes no time going from her dance into her skills. Keeps steady rhythm throughout, which is very important for this event. Great leap series right there. Jordan's just gotten so confident on this event, and it's great to see. Now for her dismount. Double full twist. Keeps the landing right there. Another stick for Oklahoma and a great routine for Jordan Bowers.
Just keeps the momentum going. Last year's Big 12 Newcomer of the Year, Jordan Bowers.
Keeps that front foot down right there on her series. Holds on with her heels on that landing right there to keep that stick. Landings matter. Every 10th does matter.
See if that is better than the 9.9s scored by Troutman and Levasseur. So far, it's a 9.825 for Boychuk and a 9.725 for Laura Cook of Iowa State. And now up third, Josie Bergstrom.
Heading into her first pass right here. Double back. Very nice landing. Unique dance in there. I believe this is another two-pass routine, and Coach Kindler was talking about how now if you're going to do a two-pass routine, you really have to step it up with your dance moves and make sure that the rhythm is really good.
You saw the drop-down update on Jordan Bowers, a 9.95 on the beam. Highest score so far.
Great leap connection right there for her. Another solid routine for Iowa State on this event. They are keeping steady throughout this meet so far.
Look again at Josie Bergstrom.
Her last pass right there, just slight form, saves that landing, however, and finds a way to end that routine in a great fashion.
Well, they're passing around the dollar bill medallion from routine to routine.
Every team, I swear, has adapted this or started this trend of rewarding each gymnast with a certain item after each of their routines. Started because of sticks. I'm not sure if that's the case anymore. Could just be for camaraderie.
That could be part of the NIL deal. You never know these days. So Bowers, a 9.95. Audrey Davis now won the beam title last week with a 9.975.
Starts off with a beautiful series. That back handspring layout was gorgeous. Front aerial. Audrey is another beautiful gymnast on this event. Her lines, the way that she keeps on releve throughout most of her routine is truly impressive. Beat jump to split ring. The best I've seen her do it so far this season. This is a great routine for Audrey. Heading into her dismount now. Another double full twist. Just a small step on that landing, but before that, wow, that routine was perfect. Just a slight deduction on that dismount. She should be really happy with that routine. You can see right here on that series, so floaty and gorgeous, keeps that front foot glued down. This dismount right here, really wanted that stick, but just a small step backwards.
Close to perfect, but not quite. As we see Ana Irene Palacios for Iowa State on the floor exercise. Josie Bergstrom scored. You saw posted a 9.8. High score is Kelsey Boychuk's 9.825 so far.
Opens up with a front tuck to a double back. Steps out right there. That will be a 10th deduction. Super confident in her dance. Nice leaps from her right there. I'll say this, Iowa State is performing super well on the floor, not just with their skills, but with their dance. Getting ready for that last pass. A great double pike, secures that landing. A great finish for her.
So Ana Irene Palacios, 4th up in the rotation for the Cyclones. Junior from Guatemala City. Had a career high on the floor exercise last week, 9.875.
There's this front first pass again. Just slightly out of there, has a little bit too much power, but into the routine with a great double pike.
Oklahoma is rolling on beam. 5th competitor, the freshman Faith Torres. Their lowest score is a 9.875.
Her series is one of the most difficult series that you will see on beam, a side aerial back layout, and she does it so well. Ends that full turn in releve.
She will anchor the floor lineup a little later, and she had a near 10 on the floor exercise this year.
Yeah, and so far this routine, Chad, is looking to be pretty perfect. Heading into her dismount right now. Round off, double back. That was the only deduction that I could see, but a great routine for Faith. Just the difficulty that she has in that routine is so impressive, and she is just a freshman. Look at that series again. And then that extremely difficult dismount. Round off, double back. Slight step backwards, but you can tell that KJ is very excited with that.
And every right to be. One more competitor, Reagan Smith, up for the Sooners on the balance beam. Just saw Ana Irene Palacios for Iowa State, still waiting on her score on the floor exercise. Due up next is Kaya Parker from Ozark, Missouri. Iowa State continuing with solid momentum. Judges checking something over, Natalie?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, she stepped out on that first pass. So sometimes that causes judging to be a little bit slower, just so they make sure they're on a similar page.
See, they still have not posted the score. Cyclones have made 14 of the last 15 NCAA regionals. Jay Ronayne in his 17th season. They have 6 newcomers. What's it like as a competitor to sit there and you're ready to go? You've gotten yourself to that magic energy and mindset, and then you have to wait, dial it back for a minute, 2 minutes.
You know, it's not the best, but it's something that you do have to deal with, and it's probably going to happen again. It's just a way that you can mentally prepare yourself for when it does happen again. You just got to stay warm. You know, I always did some handstands on the side there or jumped around. You know, I don't think anyone's going to yell at you if you get moving, but it's definitely not something that you prefer, but it happens.
Judges still assessing things, and you have to wait until they're done and ready to watch the next routine. High score so far is Kelsey Boychuk's 9.825. Bergstrom had a 9.800. Iowa State's on pace to have a season high score on this rotation as well, just having a good night. Now we'll see Kaya Parker. She has been given the go-ahead. 9-6-5 for Ana Irene Palacios.
Opens up with a really beautiful leap. Now heads into her first pass. Front tuck to a double back. Gets that landing. Beautiful leap connection right there. Iowa State continues to perform in their floor routines.
You can see Faith Torres' score for Oklahoma in the background. On the beam, a 9.875.
And Kaya ends her routine with a double pike stick sit, cold, no step backwards. A great way to finish up that routine.
That might be the best we've seen.
I think it is.
9.825, the best so far for Boychuk. Kaya Parker may have bettered it there. Maddie Diop will be the last competitor. Cyclones on the floor exercise. Sooners have one left. It is Reagan Smith on the balance beam. When she takes to the beam, you could see perfection, as we saw last week. Third time in her career, she's been perfect on the beam. Just amazing in the Maggie Nichols, same stratosphere.
Reagan's been set up pretty well here by her teammates. Is very quick and confident. Beautiful series right there. Front aerial. Straddle half to a swing down. Very difficult element right there. She nails it every time. Just the dismount now. Back handspring to gainer full. Just a slight hop on that dismount. It was a great routine for Reagan. Maybe not quite what she did last week, but overall super steady for her and for Oklahoma. Great flare out on that dismount, just that slight hop.
One of the great things about her 10 last week, in addition to it being a 10, is that 1 year ago in the Big 12 championships, she went down. She straddled the beam. Her next appearance in that venue, on that stage, a perfect 10 last week.
And now on floor we have Maddie Diop. She is one to watch on this event. The difficulty, the dance. Opens up with a front double full. She does a front double full to a layout normally. Somewhat did it right there, but you can tell she just had a little bobble in that connection. Great leap series right there. Front layout, front full to a stag. You would never tell that that bobble happened on her first pass by the smile on her face right now. She is a great performer.
Tied for the floor exercise title last week with a 9.90.
And last year, she actually scored a perfect 10 on this event. So she is capable of perfection.
Tied for first in the Big 12 championships on the floor exercise last year as well.
Into routine with a Rudy back layout. Such a beautiful element right there. And a great routine for Maddie. I know it's not as perfect as it normally is for her. See that second pass right there again. Great form in the air. And then her last pass, beautiful Rudy to a floaty layout.
Maddie Diab from a gymnastics family. Her dad, Mark, two-time still ring national champion at Iowa State. Mom, Jennifer, was a gymnast at Wisconsin. And her brothers, Alex and Mark, gymnasts at Illinois. In fact, the Illinois men were in Norman last weekend, and they tested the Oklahoma Sooners right down to the wire across campus at the McCaslin Fieldhouse. You await her score. Just waiting on Reagan Smith's beam total. No, we just got it. 9.925 for Reagan Smith.
And that's a solid score for Reagan. Sometimes when you see perfection, you might think it's not, but that's a great score. She just had that slight bobble on that landing.
Waiting on an exhibition. Actually, we have a couple of exhibitions going here.
I think they just might be staying warm for floor. That might be what we're witnessing right now.
I would think if we had an exhibition, it would be underway by now, don't you?
Yes, I agree.
Maybe they just want to try it again.
For a second, I thought it was Audrey. Then I was like, Audrey's already gone.
But nobody has moved to the next event. So perhaps we have a floor exhibition for Iowa State coming.
That's exactly what we have.
There we go. So the Sooners are waiting by the beam as the Cyclones get ready for an exhibition on the floor.
And competing exhibition for Iowa State on the floor, Emily Hong.
So Emily Hong with an exhibition. Still don't see Maddie Diab's score. Now I do. It was a 9.85. So the 9.85 for Diab, the high score for Iowa State on the floor exercise.
Yeah, and that's a pretty great score. Obviously, it's not the typical score you will see her get, but it's still a solid way to end their floor rotation. Now on this exhibition, so far, so good.
See the results. Cyclones solid. They got a chance to have their best floor score of the year. They've already done it 2 times tonight.
Another 2-pass floor routine here. That's why we see so much dance. Heading into that last pass now. Double pike, a great landing. Her teammates are so excited for her.
Heck of an exhibition.
Yeah, a great exhibition. Her teammates are thrilled for her. I love that. You love to see it. And Iowa State really did a great job on floor.
Oklahoma has a 1 7/10 lead heading to our final rotation. Iowa State on pace to have its best score of the year and trying to make things interesting for KJ Kindler and the Sooners, the top-ranked team in the country. Final event of the night comes your way next. You're watching Sooner Women's Gymnastics presented by OU Health. Oklahoma Oklahoma's lead through 3 rotations is 1 9¾ of a point over Iowa State, or 25/100ths shy of 2 points. It's close, and Iowa State's had a very good night so far. Cyclones did not quite have a season high on their last rotation on the floor exercise. Good nonetheless. Oklahoma was above average for its beam, but did not have a season high. They had that last week. Kincaid Coach Lines brings you this look at upcoming Sooner home athletic events. Kincaid Coach Lines tells us that women's basketball has West Virginia tomorrow afternoon at the Lloyd Noble Center. And then really cool over at McCaslin Fieldhouse, there are 2 new programs in men's collegiate gymnastics this year. One of them, Simpson College, also out of Iowa, will be over at McCaslin Fieldhouse to take on the Sooners. And Oklahoma Wrestling at McCaslin Fieldhouse taking on Ryder at 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. You see that men's tennis has got Wichita State, and they're in action right now, as a matter of fact. Men's tennis is taking on Drake just across the parking lot from us. We got you fully covered with upcoming Sooner home athletic events. Jordan Bowers having a great night. He's gotten so good on the floor exercise. KJ Kindler told us this is what really has clinched how great she has become, is how good she is now on the floor.
Yeah, she's a strong competitor on this event for sure. Has difficulty in her routine, a sky-high double pike to open up her routine, and then a double fold to a punch front. She really eyes you down throughout the routine, is such a great performer, and she'll probably do that tonight.
Won the floor exercise as part of her all-around win last week against Denver. Already tonight has tied for the vault title as Jordan Bowers tied with Allie Stern on that title at 9.95. You see Sooner assistant coach Tom Haley in charge of this group on the floor exercise. Iowa State will finish things up on the balance beam tonight.
I'm really looking forward to seeing the Sooners perform this week. You know, like I talked about earlier, it's the 5th meet of the season. You know, they've gotten some nerves out. They've really adjusted well to their floor routines. It's time to perform, not just focus on the skills, but the dance as well.
We'll see Belle Johnson up first, Reagan Smith, Danielle Sievers, Danae Fletcher, Jordan Bowers, and Faith Torres. And for Iowa State, Lauren Thomas is set to lead off on the beam. Thomas, the University of Washington transfer. And we saw her earlier tonight, 9.85 she had on the bars.
Gets ready to head into her unique series right here. Does a front toss to a back handspring. Very well executed. Slight wobble on that full turn. Switch leap to straddle quarter. So far, a great lead off for Iowa State. Her dismount now, round off 1.5, just a little bit under rotated, has to take a small step backwards, but a good start for Iowa State on the beam.
Lauren Thomas, Kelsey Boychuk will be up next. And for the Sooners, Belle Johnson to lead off on the floor exercise. Belle Johnson Jr. from right here in Norman.
And Belle is a great leadoff for Oklahoma on this event.
Bart Conner Gymnastics product. Mainly a floor exercise specialist, but started as a walk-on and now is on a full ride.
Opens up with a front layout to 1.5. Has to step out right there. That will be a 10th deduction, but the form of that pass was great. I love hearing stories about walk-ons earning a scholarship, something that sits with me in my heart.
Not an easy sport in which to do that, most certainly.
And not an easy team to do that as well. Into her team with a great double back to close. Doesn't let that first pass phase her at all. And really leads Oklahoma off well. A good start for Oklahoma. Again, she did step out on that first pass, so her team will be a 10th lower. But that last pass was done so well, and she really closed off their team well.
KJ Kindler said this week that the floor exercise is a work in progress right now for the Sooners. What do you think she means by that?
What I think that she means is just trying to find the right balance between performance and executing the skills. I think floor is the hardest to do that on. You know, you really have to build up that endurance before you are ready to perform. And then you really have to start seeing what works and seeing how hard you can perform, you know.
Kelsey Boychuk, second up. Cyclones on the beam. Lauren Thomas had a 9.700.
Starts off with a back handspring layout. Just a little bit soft knees. Hat leap to side flip. Well balanced on this event. And a nice gainer full to end that routine. A very quick routine for her, but done really well, kept her rhythm. Just slight deductions on the form here and there, but a good routine for Iowa State.
Second competitor, Kelsey Boychuk, followed Lauren Thomas, who had a 9.70. Set for the Sooners, Reagan Smith. And still awaiting the prior score of Belle Johnson. So we're still waiting to get that taken care of. But Reagan Smith ready to go. Perfect on the beam last week. As we told you, she was a first-team All-American on the floor exercise last year. Senior from Louisville, Texas. Still assessing that score of a moment ago. Again, you play the waiting game. So Reagan Smith is ready to go.
Reagan's super fun to watch on this event.
Belle Johnson 9.750. Just saw that posted. So solid start from Belle Johnson.
Loves how she throws that OU in there. Opens up with a double tuck.
Get the crowd into it. We saw Kelsey Boychuk's 9.80 for Iowa State on the beam.
Round off 1.5-2 layout, done super well. She's really performing this routine. Good leap connection right there. All she has left now is her last pass. Front up back handspring, double pike. Just a little under-rotated right there. Has to take a small step forward. But that was a great routine for Reagan and a true performance.
Reagan Smith up second on the floor exercise. Let's have another look.
Opens up with that first pass. Nice double back right there. Ends the routine. Again, you can just tell that she's a little bit under-rotated right there, so she has to take that small step forward, but it was still a great routine for Reagan.
Just saw Kelsey Boychuk with a 9.80. Now Josie Bergstrom taking her turns. Sophomore from Boynton, Iowa. Third routine we've seen from her tonight. So saw her on the vault floor exercise.
Pat leap into a front toss. Two back handspring. Executed perfectly. So far, super steady. Switch leap, switch leap. Very difficult element right there. Yet she made it look super easy. I don't know if she's looking into the camera, but it feels like she's looking right at me.
I think that's the purpose.
Just her dismount now. Front tuck full. Just lands a little bit short right there. Just a small hop. The routine before that was super good, and it was a good ending. Probably not what she was looking for, but you can tell she was trying to find that stick. But here's her series again. Very unique combination. That dismount again, just a little short on that landing, but recovers well. Another good routine for Iowa State.
Daniel Seaver's turn.
Danny is so fun to watch on this event. A true performer for Oklahoma. Opens up with a huge first pass.
Reagan Smith had a 9.825 and Belle Johnson 9.75 for the Sooners, you see.
Goes into her next pass, front tuck to double back. Excellent. And Danny does a two-pass routine, so you'll see her have some fun here right now with her dance. Great leap connection right there. A great routine for Danny. That was the best routine I've seen so far for Oklahoma on floor tonight. Here's that second pass again, the front tuck to a double back. Great way to end the routine.
She's a leader on this team, says KJ Kendler, and that her temperature is very important to this team. Very well respected amongst all of the members of this Sooner squad. Natalie Horowitz now.
Starts off with a front toss to back handspring. Unique combination right there. Full turn into a cat leap. And adds in a split jump. Keeps the rhythm throughout. Cat leap to switch half to beat jump. Was a little slow on that cat leap to the other leap. Her dismount now, gainer full, opposite side of the beam. Tries to hold the landing, but kind of hops into saluting to the judges. But so far, Iowa State looks pretty confident up on the beam.
When is it a stick and when is it a salute to the judges? There's a fine line.
It's pretty, you can tell by looking at it, it's pretty easy for your eyes just to catch it there. But hey, you gotta give her an A for effort.
Danae Fletcher ready to go on the floor exercise for the Sooners. Fourth competitor on this rotation for Oklahoma. Sophomore from Philadelphia. First team All-American on the floor exercise last year.
Danae opens up this routine with a triple twist.
Danielle Sievers 9.925. You just saw.
And changed that first pass, so she actually did a double back to open up. Normally she does a triple twist. Front layout, front full. She is a fun performer to watch. Glares right into your eyes. Looks extremely focused throughout. Ends with a beautiful 2.5 twist right there. That was a great routine for Danae. Might have been the best one I've seen from her so far, and you can tell by the excitement afterwards.
Energy through her teammates and through this crowd at the Lloyd Noble Center from Danae Fletcher.
Here's that first pass again, a whip to a double back. She changed that from last week. And then that last pass right there, beautiful 2.5. You can tell she was so happy with that routine.
So Danae Fletcher, fourth for the Sooners, and the best score is a 9.925. What do you think? Is that 9.925 territory?
It could be a 9.95.
I'm putting you on the spot. It could be better.
The way that she held her landings makes me want to think that it's going to be a 9.95, but I don't want to speak too soon.
9.775 from Natalie Horowitz just a moment ago, and now Logan Boswell for the Cyclones. Won the balance beam last week in that quad meet with a career-high 9.9.
Starts off with a switch leap to switch half to beat jump. Beautiful. Heads into her series now. That handspring layout just goes off the beam a little there. You can tell from that back handspring she was just a little bit crooked. Had no chance of staying on. Recovers nicely with that full turn. Great dismount, a good recovery from her. You can tell she's not happy with that. However, she ended really well. Here's that series again. You can tell that she's going a little bit crooked, and just the way that her body posture is when she lands, she had no chance of staying on.
Back over to the floor exercise where Danae Fletcher with a 9.95 has just taken the overall lead.
I guess I didn't speak too soon.
The 9.95 is a season high, but not a career high for Danae. And now Jordan Bowers, who won the floor exercise a week ago at Meet Denver.
Just as she's captivating on the beam, she's captivating right here. You will not catch her looking at the ground. She will be looking at you or someone in the crowd. Heads into her first pass. Sky high double pike. Just steps out slightly, has a little bit too much power there. A lot of people have had too much power tonight. Heads into her next pass, front double full to front tuck. Stays in on that pass, I believe. Very difficult combination. Overall, a good routine for Jordan. Obviously stepping out on that first pass is not typical. Here we go again with that first pass. Double pike just gets too much distance, so she has to take that step over the line. And now her last pass, double full, travels a little bit to the right, but does maintain to stay in.
Last year's Big 12 floor exercise champion, Jordan Bowers. Get you her score in just a moment, but now, final competitor of the night for Iowa State on the balance beam is Hannah Loyan.
Beautiful leap connection right there. Heads into her series now, back handspring layout. Super solid. Ends with a smile.
Cyclones trying to make up for the fall a moment ago.
Beautiful front aerial to beat jump. Just her dismount now, gainer full. Doesn't quite get the landing, has to hop back a little bit, but that was a solid routine for her.
One more regular competitor to go. Remember, we have the all-around competition going on, and it's the two final contenders, Jordan Bowers and Faith Torres. They are the last two up on the floor exercise. Waiting Jordan Bowers' score. And Faith Torres is set.
Has a little pressure on her now after two of her teammates have gone out of bounds. Definitely want to drop one of those scores. Faith opens up with a huge double layout right here. Amazing. Makes it look so easy. Handles herself with so much confidence. Final pass right here for Faith. Front tuck to round up back handspring, double tuck. Solid. Great routine for Faith. And a great way for Oklahoma to end the floor rotation.
Pretty good for a freshman. She already has a 9.95 on the floor exercise this season.
Here we go again with that opening pass. The way that she spots the ground is truly incredible. And then again on this last pass right here. It's like she knows she's gonna land right there every single time.
The Sooners are scheduled to have Audrey Davis perhaps in a floor exercise exhibition in a moment. Kaya Parker with an exhibition for Iowa State on the beam.
Has a slight error right there, has to fall off the beam. Couldn't quite save it. However, this is just an exhibition. It's a great way for her to get out there and earn some experience. Nice back handspring layout right there. Just her dismount now. Round off 1.5, opens a little bit early, has to catch herself with that back leg by stepping backwards. But it was a pretty good recovery for her. Again, it's just great to see gymnasts get out there in the exhibition to gain experience that they might use later down the road in the lineup.
Audrey Davis now with an exhibition on floor exercise for the Sooners. All the scoring, though, is done. Faith Torres' score was a 9.925 on floor exercise, just below that of Danae Fletcher, who's going to win the floor exercise individual event title tonight.
Audrey opens up with a front handspring double full. Beautifully done. Has such beautiful lines and flexibility that she shows with her leaps and her dance. Just her last pass right here, a 1.5 to front full. Has to step out just a little bit. I don't know what's going on. I guess everyone has a little bit of bounce today. But overall, a great routine for Audrey. She just had to take a small step out. You'll see right here, just travels a little bit too far, tries to save it, but has to step out right there.
But for the second consecutive week, Oklahoma goes over the 198 mark. A total of 198.225, 0.2 of a point lower than what they scored last week at Utah. But nonetheless, that's probably going to be a top 10 in the history of the program type of a score for the Sooners. As KJ Kindler addresses the crowd. We'll come back, wrap up the night, tell you who won the individual event titles as well. Sooners have won it. It is now 66 consecutive home meet wins dating back to 2014. And the top-ranked defending national champions are 7-0. Sooners win it 198.225 is just below, in fact, 0.2 of a point below what they did last week in that big win at Denver when they went over 198 for the first time this year. And for Iowa State, it's a season high for them by 0.05 of a point. So being in Norman against the top-ranked team in the country brought out the competitive juices in the Cyclones. As we look at our final stats presented by Taco Mayo, big appetite, bigger savings. Download and save today. Which one really stood out to you? Which particular rotation for Oklahoma tonight?
I think, Bars had its moments. I think every single event had its moment tonight. There was some momentum throughout each event. However, I do think that there were some landings that they definitely can fix. Again, a 198.225, a great score. But I know the Sooners, they can get even more landings than they did tonight and bump that up even higher. But that is a high score for them at home so far. So that's great to see.
Jordan Bowers is our gymnast of the meet. She wins the all-around. Not the career high that she had last week, but a 39.625 tonight. Jordan Bowers also shared the vault title with Allie Stern, and she won the beam title with a 9.95. So 2 individual event titles and the all-around. Another night's work for our gymnast of the night, presented by Love's Travel Stops, the heart of the highway. She was good, as expected.
Yeah, Jordan had a great night. She's just proving her consistency out there. She had that slight error on floor stepping out. However, overall, it was a great night for Jordan Bowers.
Jordan Bowers and the Sooners victorious once again. Fun night both ways. I think Iowa State's got to be pleased with their performance. Season high score for the Cyclones, and Oklahoma just continues to roll on as the top-ranked defending national champions. They score over 198 for the second consecutive week. Thanks to our great Sooner Vision crew. For the former Sooner national champion Natalie Brown, I'm Chad McKee. We will talk to you next time on Sooner Vision from ESPN+.